name is Geordie Tait. I'm 34 years old, living in San Mateo, California. I've had a lot of different jobs since I was 18. Some of them having to do with writing, some of them having to do with game design, some of them having to do with art production, some of them have to do with other stuff.
Jumped into what you suggested, the final solution. And I'm going to read it here verbatim.
Sure.
I'm not the one making light of the final solution. In fact, I'm using the suggested punishment fittingly because I honestly and without hesitation think that each and every one of these fucking assholes should be tossed into Treblinka. Right now, you're probably gasping and saying, "How dare you say such a thing?" Could you? I mean, why would you suggest? Why would that ever be a good idea? Just out of curiosity. I mean, why would any time of genocidal talk would be a good idea to throw at something? I mean, where are you coming with this?
Well, I mean, I consider Gamergate literally an evil force, and if I'm going to have the courage of my convictions, if someone was to ask me the tough question, if you believe they're evil, would you sanction their elimination? You know, would you believe that that would make the world a better place? And the answer's got to be yes, or I'm just full of shit.
Okay, so you stated that, and you did mention things like gassing Gamergaters, or letting them take the cyanide, as you put it. And a lot of people were kind of upset about that. They were upset about a lot of things in this, but they were really upset about that part. In my opinion, you said that you think that Gamergate is evil. I mean, what has come out of Gamergate as much as there is as bad?
Nope. I don't believe that even one good thing has come out of Gamergate.
So, I can name one right off the top of my head. I mean, you can look at the Fine Young Capitalist and what they did. $50,000. Another time was when they donated for people who had, I think it was suicide, wasn't it? Either suicide or breast cancer, one of the two. And that was about $7,000. I mean, I don't know if you could say that, but did you not remember those, or did you never see those?
Well, I've got to admit I am not as aware of those events as you seem to be.
Offended by everything that comes out of people's mouths.
I'm not. I'm not offended at all.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying it's not.
I'm the one who is making the jokes about
that's fine.
various things involving the Holocaust, because I believe fine. You should be able to do that. But I wasn't talking about Jews getting burned. I was talking about the members of Gamergate being, incinerated, which I think is justified.
Well, why is genocide ever justified, out of curiosity?
Because these are literally evil people who are making people's lives worse just by existing.
Okay, so give me some examples, some links maybe, something that can show that these people are so evil that they need to be genocided. At least something that would, I can understand that, but I understand the concept of listen and believe, but I also understand the concept of trust but verify.
Yeah.
And I want to trust it, but you got to verify with me, and everybody else, so that we understand.
I really think
how we are.
I mean, it's so obvious to me. I just feel like you must not be looking for it. You must be just ignoring 90% of what the members of Gamergate say.
Well, I'm not. I'm just saying, can I get some links and stuff to show to the chat why Gamergate is evil? And
I could try and find some. Okay. I didn't actually prepare any. I could have.
No problem. Just take your time. We don't have to rush it. Just look while we talk. It's no big deal.
All right, I'll try.
Okay, so going down into this, you said something that was okay. Hold on, I gotta go through all this. So much you've said.
Yep.
Okay. I have to take this out of context. You know everything about women's rights, that life as a /K/forum troll, a shitty ASVAB score, and a skimming of Atlas Shrugged while jerking off in the bathroom at Chick-fil-A has taught you. Yes, I mean you, Adam Baldwin. Can you clarify why Adam Baldwin is any of that?
Adam Baldwin is a fucking dick. I mean, even if he's not any of that, he's a fucking dick. But okay, a K forum troll, what I mean by that is like a gun enthusiast. A shitty ASVAB score is just a joke at the expense of someone who was trying to get into the military. Skimming of Atlas Shrugged while jerking off in the bathroom at Chick-fil-A. As you probably know, the owner of Chick-fil-A is a,
well, they're Christian.
Republican.
They're hardline Christian.
Yeah, hardline Christian fucking piece of shit. And Atlas Shrugged, like, self-explanatory for why that's stupid. So, I mean, that's it. It's just one long running insult.
Okay, so I'm gonna read this next thing you said. You said,
Yep.
the bottom-dwelling, complete idiot, neckbeard loser, piece of motherfucking shit, Taco Bell breathing, wheezing, greasy iPhone dialing, tank ass, putting mayonnaise on dental floss scumbag. The guy double-fisting memes and cheese slices. The guy making a Custer's Revenge Sprite in Minecraft. The guy who has never written or produced anything worth a damn in a pitiful chair compacting back of neck wiping life. Now, I gotta say, you said that Gamergate is very evil and they're very... would you say that they bully people and harass them?
Are you trying to draw a comparison between that and that paragraph?
A little bit, but I'm just saying, do you not see the difference?
I do see the difference.
What's the difference from what I read, where you generalized all of Gamergate as this, in such a detailed way?
And bullying and harassment? Well, bullying and harassment necessarily usually is at the expense of someone who is, what's the word I'm looking for here? You know, someone who is having a hard time already, a socially downtrodden person. You know, the example I would use is a woman in our society who has so many more obstacles to deal with than a man. So, you know...
in some countries, not leave their own homes without being stoned to death. I don't know about you, but in America, I don't think when a woman walks out her door, she's going to get stoned to death.
Yep, not applicable to America.
Well, what country are you referring to?
Iran.
Well, that's a third world country that actually has real feminist deep problems. But how is that reference to Gamergate at all?
What do you mean? How's it a reference to Gamergate?
Well,
like this is just generally, like, this is an example of... Okay, let me just say this: it's an Islamic country, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of Islamic people in the United States, which is a first world country, and in other first world countries. So the ghost of the edicts that allowed people to hand, you know, her son a stone and have her killed by her own kid, the remnants of that are still exist in the holy books that people are using in America, and you can't tell me that there's not some leakage there. It doesn't just cut off and, like,
right.
stuff.
But there's a difference between reading a book and actually acting on it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a prime example would be what happened to John Lennon. There's a difference between reading a book and acting on it. We have common sense, and common sense would dictate that there's a massive margin line where you don't walk out your door and stone someone to death because you read a book.
Yeah, I would agree, but the lack of respect and lack of humanity that you attribute to a female that allows the book to even have those words written in it and pervades the book and the chapters surrounding it, that chapter, the ones after it and the ones before it, they are in your head, and that's what you teach to your kid, and it just keeps going and going and going.
Well, that's First Amendment rights. It's freedom of speech. You know, you can't stop it as long as it doesn't harm others in any important way.
It does harm others. It harms women.
It doesn't just harm women, though. I mean, there's plenty of people harmed by many things, but you can't say that a book harms just a woman. It doesn't really work that way. We know that as society. You don't have to reenact what happens in a book. Anybody who does is obviously mentally unstable.
I'm fine with some splash damage. If other people are helped by the elimination of everyone's Quran or that's fine with me.
Well,
but what?
Let's stop. Let's take it out of context from the Quran. So you say that all these things happen to women on a minutely basis, though we do know that the majority of what you linked happens in third world countries where women's rights are still being fought today, but not in the majority of countries. And
I mean, that's the cradle of civilization. I mean, we all came from there. Like, the echoes of all of that is still massive in our media and our laws and our culture.
Look, I have to stop you there, man, because it's not echoed in our culture and our laws. And you don't want, especially not in the media. I'm not turning on Fox News and they're advocating going to stone a woman to death or not letting her drive her car. We have laws against everything about that. We have bills of rights and everything like that. I mean, my boss, a director, makes 10 times more money than I do that runs a hospital, is a woman. There's plenty of women. The woman who runs Intel that Gawker Media slammed across the floor is a woman. The majority... So? What do you mean so? You're saying...
I mean so! Who fucking cares?
Well,
that doesn't mean shit.
You obviously do, because you say
no, it doesn't.
Well, you just said that you're about for women, and all these women have these problems, yet I'm showing you that examples of that's not the case, that women can easily
those
have
are just
anything
those are just examples of women who are in high positions.
Right, okay, so, but that doesn't mean anything. That's still a woman who worked her way to get there. That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
I mean, look at divorce court ratings. Women win way more than a man does any time, and the majority always goes to the woman. It's literally dictated in the law. It's true. You can't deny it.
I mean, I deny it.
I guess you can, but I mean, it's still there. It's a fact, at least in American society, that women will win that half the time, and they'll still get the alimony, and men will get hurt much more. I mean, there was just an article not too long ago about a guy who got completely screwed, and his wife was a meth addict, and he wasn't. Let's see. You made some. Let's see. I'm going to read this out loud, so maybe you can. Well, actually, we'll go down a little bit more.
Go ahead.
And you, the self-hating gal who internalizes everything her dumb fuck friends have shoveled down her sack, then calls it a unique worldview due to little more than pride and self-importance. Fuming at hearing me say that, you're actually a feminist. Sorry, but you're not. Tough shit. If you'd listen to me, I'd be happy to explain to you what's up, but you never have any intention of listening because you want to feel like the special little snowflake of your guild full of maladjusted ADD cases. Not your shield. Can you, when you said gal, were you referring to women or were you referring to not your shield? I didn't understand when I was reading that.
I was referring to, like, an exaggerated example woman who I'm making fun of in this paragraph. It's pretty simple.
Was it not your shield, though, or was it a specific...
Well, it's typical of the people... Maybe it's possible that I misinterpreted what the membership of Not Your Shield is. But I thought that it's feminists who nonetheless agree with Gamergate. Isn't that Not Your Shield? Isn't that what Not Your Shield means?
No, not Your Shield is minorities and disabled people and transgendered LGBTQ and feminists and stuff like that.
Well, that's close enough. Yeah. In this case, I'm talking about a feminist.
Okay, so in this case, well, how can you say that they're not feminists if they relate to feminism and they say that they openly that they're feminists? Isn't that you kind of mansplaining to them what they are when they tell you they're not?
Well, they would probably say that, but again, I've got to have the courage of my convictions. I mean, I've talked to like dozens of people who, would agree with my assessment that they might claim to be a feminist, but in practice, they're not accomplishing anything at all.
Well, isn't it arbitrary? You're telling them what they are when in fact they're telling you who they are. Isn't that kind of dictating who the person is?
I mean, I'm saying that, I'm not saying anything bad about the Holocaust, and people don't seem to agree with that, so it really doesn't matter what you say about yourself.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Would you mind if I bring in Sargon of Akkad here? He wants to ask you a few questions. Is that okay with you?
Not at all. Bring him on in.
Okay, cool. All right. Give me 1 second here. Let me see if he's ready. Appreciate you being in here, man. It takes balls to come on and actually discuss these things with...
It's no problem. This chat is full of the dumbest collection of motherfuckers I've ever seen.
Oh, Jesus, man. All right, man. I told you they were gonna be pretty pissed off at you. I warned you. I told you.
I really don't give a fuck what they think, so it doesn't really matter.
If Sargon's not ready, then I'll okay, Sargon's not ready. I'm gonna bring Socks in here.
Sure. Who's this? Well,
Socks. This is Rena Socks. She does daily videos on YouTube of what's going on in the Gamergate world and what's going on about it, just articles and stuff like that. And she does a pretty good job with it. I do usually do the daily news with her on a weekly basis when we do our streams.
That sounds pretty cool.
She just wants to talk to you about it, and then I'll bring in Sargon right after.
All right.